A very good afternoon to you. It is about 16 minutes past midday here in Nairobi, East African time. Good morning, good evening, depending on where you're tuned in and watching us from. The show is Diplomatic Leaks, and you're going to pay attention to Angola. As I said in our earlier show, Angola went to its elections on the 24th of August 2022. And then after that, the opposition sort of was not content with the results of that. Angola's MPLA party was declared the winner of a closely fought election, extending its decades of long rule and giving President João Lourenço a second term. Official results announced by the National Electoral Commission, CNE, on last Monday reported the People's Movement for the Liberation of Angola, MPLA, won 51.17% of the ballot against 43.9% of the main challenger, the National Union for the Total Independence of Angola, otherwise known as UNITA. So that is the basis of our conversation this morning. But also it's just an update of that. As I said, opposition went to court, UNITA went to court, and Angola's Constitutional Court rejected a request by the runner-up in last month's election to consider the final vote count invalid, paving the way for João Lourenço to be sworn in for a second term as a president of Africa's second and biggest oil producer. The court dismissed a petition in a statement late on Monday, that was yesterday, by the National Union for the Total Liberation of Angola, known as UNITA, which alleged that polling station records in the main opposition party's possession did not match those approved by the National Electoral Commission. The court's decision can't be appealed, meaning 51% win by the ruling Popular Movement for the Liberation of Angola is final. Lourenço is expected to be sworn in this month, and no one should rob us the victory, UNITA leader Alberto Costa Jr. told reporters after the court's decision was announced. And he also added that UNITA's records indicated that it received 49.5% of the votes, while the MPLA received 48.2% of the votes, and UNITA reserves the right to appeal to international courts once all legal challenges in Angola have been exhausted, said Costa Jr., that is the leader of UNITA. And there you go. So that is just a bit of a background of what is happening as far as the elections in Angola is concerned. Those figures that have been indicated there, they're very much so almost the ones that Azimio were claiming that, might have been the results of the just concluded elections in this country. But anyway, I'm joined by Douglas Kirimi all the way from Meru County. Douglas, a very good afternoon to you.
A very good afternoon to you, and also to our crew at our headquarters in Nairobi, and also to our friends from Angola, and also the people of Africa and across the world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where they're watching us from, Miriam. Thank you.
Welcome. So first of all, let's just start with perhaps the most burning question, because we see a lot of elections here in the continent are contested compared to, say, elections we see happen in Europe, for instance. Why do you think this is the case?
Thank you, Miriam. Elections in Africa are contested because they lack credibility, they cannot be verified, they are not democratic, and also these elections at the end of the day are elections that do not meet the standards that they set for their own countries. Remember, even in Latin America, in Brazil and Latin America compares also to Africa. For example, if you can set up an election and tell us you want to use technology in that election, and that election is going, that technology is going to fail in that election, and that technology is also going to be one of the issues that is going to be contested in the Supreme Court or the constitutional courts of those countries. Remember, when you tell us that you are going to conduct elections in this country, for example, in Kenya, where we had an election just the other day, or in Angola, or any other place in the world, you have an opportunity to prove to the people that the will of the people at the ballot, the choices of the people at the ballot cannot be subverted even by technology. But when you go to a vote and tell us that this election, the president has been able to retain their seat, and when you retain that seat, it said that the technology can only be scaled, technology is not infallible, and all manner of excuses, and then you uphold that election, you continue entrenching electoral injustices in the system of that country or in the continent, and we continue battling the point that people can rig elections, especially in Africa. But when we look at the issues at the West, or any other European country, we have one issue that comes up to the fore, that the voices of the people, the choice of the people, if it's a courage vote, cannot be subverted. People would vote independently. For example, in Somalia, where over 300 people were chosen to vote, or their electoral system means that it is members of parliament that are going to vote for president. It is said people were bought with as much as $400,000. And that's not a mean feat in elections. We continue in Africa having people, all systems that do not work for the people. When you tell people to go to elections after 5 years, and then you rig that election, the Electoral Commission chairman said it will conspire with one of the leading candidates and steal an election, it is not right. Mm-hmm. And I also found out the issue in Angola, when you tell people that now you cannot be able to challenge that decision, you can only go to the International Court of Justice. One thing I think it is not appealing to the people of Africa is, one, we need a constitutional court that can be able to resolve disputes effectively when you are not satisfied with the decision in your own country. Because I do not find it tenable when we have one constitutional court in a particular country. What if these judges are compromised? They are also human beings. And I think the next level of elections that should happen in Africa is where a state has immense power. For example, the ruling party in Angola since 1975, they have been in power, except when the former José dos Santos, the former president of Angola, left power to João Lorenzo to be president, and now Lorenzo is also entrenching the same from his predecessor. That opposition is said to have an improvement from the past in their performance in this election, but that is not an indictment for them to lose an election where they probably think they were validly elected, because a ruling party has more systems than an opposition. And also, it is also a wake-up call for opposition parties in Africa. You are not just wake up and present your name to be at the ballot. You need structures from ward level, a constituency level, a state level, or county level, and then national level. If you have no systems, you are going to fail. For example,
there's something. Yeah. Douglas, sorry I've interfered with your thought process, but there's something there that you've underscored that I think is very important, and I just want for us to interrogate it for a minute before you come back to your thoughts there. Of course, Uniter, that is the opposition party, has said that according to their constitution, reserves the right to appeal to international courts. All right. We saw the ruling that was made yesterday here, that allowed, President-elect William Ruto to be declared a validly elected president of the Republic of Kenya and is awaiting to be sworn in. So can you imagine if anybody would sit and think, let me go challenge this, as much as the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court, has made its decision, and then somebody decides to go and seek for reprieve outside of the country, as that is a reserve, that is an avenue, something that is allowed according to Angolan constitution. When you bring in a matter of international aspect or international courts, and something that has to do with an election in a country, are we not opening ourselves to, I don't know if Uniter will choose to take this route, but are we not opening ourselves to external interference and foreign interference that we know has been a perennial problem as far as our governance and politics in this continent is concerned?
Miriam, we are not, I think, from my perspective, as a right-thinking citizen of the world or a global citizen, I think systems in a country can fail you as a leader, can fail you as a national party, as an opposition party. If these national parties fail you, it means that at the end of the day, as a leader, you have a right to go ahead and challenge that election, go ahead and challenge those results. And remember, these elections are not held in isolation. You have to also bring scrutiny to the fore. You have to also make sure that that election is democratic, verifiable, free and transparent, free and fair, verifiable and democratic. If it's not, please go out there and seek any assistance that can be able to bring the answer to your problems, electoral problems. Remember, a group of people can decide to deny you victory. That's why systems in the world should be tested. In Africa, our electoral systems, these commissioners of the electoral commissions across Africa should be brought under scrutiny by independent observers. Remember, Dr. David Matanga said something that I think
Okay, we've suffered just a bit of a technical hitch there. Douglas, can you hear me? Good afternoon.
Many people in Africa to vote to African Union to vote for leaders, they go there and they are bribed. They take bribes there, and when the time to vote comes, they vote for leaders that they want, according to the wishes of the paymaster. So at the end of the day, if the Electoral Commission of Angola is not brought under scrutiny, if those votes are not challenged at any court or anywhere, it is wrong to believe that a constitutional court of the Supreme Court is infallible. They are going to give you the right judgment for their country and also for the leaders of opposition. For example, in this country, I do not disagree with the ruling. I don't agree with the ruling of the Supreme Court when they said that it was a worthless pursuit, it was a waste of time, it was frivolous, and give very uncouth and constitutional statements that are going to haunt these judges of the Supreme Court of the Republic of Kenya. Even from my perspective as a Kenyan, I believe that these judges erred. If I have a contention with Miriam Ogutu, I can take it to any court. And Miriam, these people from Angola can go and challenge it if their constitution allows that. But what I'm saying is, for example, in our case, we also need an extra constitutional requirement. For example, if I'm not dissatisfied with the ruling in the Supreme Court of the Republic of Kenya, I can go to any court, maybe African Court of Justice that the President Kenyatta was seeking to establish, and also help to give the city capital for the same. Because I do not believe that these people can be infallible. For example, some parties do not have structures. That's what I was explaining. For example, in our country, we were told the opposition did not even have agents. Who goes to a presidential election without agents, without paying agents and all that? It is wrong. It is uncalled for even these parties. Why are you going to elections without the structures? You need the structures from ward level, constituency level, county or state level, and then national level. For you to win elections in Africa, it's not about big ideas. It's not about how you shout much. It's about structures. It's about counting every vote and asking people to vote for you and making sure that your votes count. But also with technology, which is an improvement from the past, we are going to also streamline these issues as we go forward. For us to be able to come together and agree that free, transparent elections can happen in Africa, verifiable elections, we need to be able to also adopt technology that we can be able to trust more than human beings, because people before could be compromised. Remember, Miriam, there are people in Gambia, the Republic of the Gambia, who vote with marbles. 6 baskets are placed in front of you. Then you pick your marble. Your name is picked from the Electoral Commission list. Then you are told you are eligible to vote. Then, if it's the president, you throw a marble in that basket. Now, in a country where people can be compromised, then the Electoral Commission can say we have added 2 more hours from 5 p.m. Then at night, people can come with more marbles and hand them in one big basket, and then a president is declared. Such issues is what I'm saying we should depart from as people. It is not a technology. It is not even an ancient method of voting. It is an illegal method of voting to continue putting wise people or brilliant people in power at the expense of people who have no resources to buy the electoral commissions of these countries, Miriam. I'm saying we should have an higher authority or an higher court where we can be challenging these election results if our countries become compromised or our countries' electoral commissions become compromised. We can be able to rush to another court and and challenge those issues, especially electoral issues. We can have African Court of Electoral Justice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Or in the case of Gambia, maybe an opponent might just decide to just throw the marbles altogether. Who knows? Okay. I thought Javan was there, but we seem to have lost him there. And of course, these elections in Angola came from a backdrop of a lot of things that happened. Remember, our president, the former president Jose Eduardo dos Santos, died in Barcelona, in Spain, on the 8th of July, I believe. And the family said they could not bury him until elections had taken place in Angola. Because they did not want the political class to use their father's death as a means to use it as a campaign tool. But we saw the president, Lourenço, he did that. He said, you need to vote for me because that will make the late president very happy. And maybe that might have appealed to some voters. And so now he has been declared the winner. Of course, the opposition, as you said there, has refused to accept the results, and there is that possibility if they wanted for them to go and make an appeal to an international court. But in the meantime, I think the president will be sworn in anyway. If anything, he'll still be sworn in. So I don't know if it will be the case of what we saw happening in Malawi. Was it Malawi? Yeah. After the president was sworn in 1 year later, his win was nullified. His win was nullified. So he was sworn in while the process that challenged his win was still ongoing. And so that is how these different jurisdictions differ. Because I think for us it's very clear. You have to, if at all your win is being challenged, you have to overcome that. And then once you've been cleared, as we saw President-elect William Ruto cleared yesterday by the Supreme Court, and then now you're free to be sworn in as the country's president. Javan Karanja, a very good afternoon to you. Javan, good afternoon. All right, we're having issues with Javan there. So anyway, we'll see if at all the opposition will go and challenge these results in alternative court, because as I told you there earlier, the Constitutional Court rejected a request by the opposition in last month's election to consider the final vote count invalid, paving the way for João Lourenço to be sworn in for a second term as president of Africa's second biggest oil producer. And I think the rest of the stories about Angola, we'll have them some other time. This has been Diplomatic Leaks, and we've been just doing a recap on the latest as far as Angola's election that took place on the 24th is concerned, and that is the latest. Thank you so much, Douglas Kirimi, for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.